party people. Hello. I am here today with Dollar Bead Box project number 4. This is the working on the stiffy stuff little situation that we have decided to draw up. So it's going to be quite intensive. I feel like it's going to be intensive, but I think it'll be worth it. They were going to make a pendant and all that good jazz. So this is dollarbeadbox.com, and this is August 2022. If you want to visit this box and check out some of these items, we have done 3 other projects in the past. Those are all on a new playlist that I have created for Dollar Bead Box. So anyways, I invite you all to come along for this journey. Let's get down to the mat, get this party started. Hello party people. Let me premise this video by saying that we are at Thunderhorse Descendant studio. It is a working studio. We are packing and shipping your handmade jewelry and bead orders from the bead store and from the jewelry store. We also have pets. So if you hear some ruckus, don't be alarmed. That's just how we roll around here. So, speaking of pets, it's Shaky Toes. Shaky Toes, is that you? Sounds like you. It's just like, what are you doing? All right, so dollarbeadbox.com, that is where you can go and check out if you would like to get in on these beads that we've been using. Hi, Jakaroo. So this is going to be the beads that we are working with today. This is going to be a little more of an intense project than the others that we have done. So first I'm going to show you my bead situation, and then I'm going to show you the things that I've added to make this project. Okay, so these are the beads that we're going to be using. These are all from the August 22 Dollar Bead Box. So these are the beads, and then I am going to be utilizing Lacey's Stiffy Stuff Bead Foundation. So what this looks like this. It is a little piece of stiffy stuff, like literally. And if you don't have this and you need some of this, I asked Shannon to go ahead and post this online, so it will be on our new website. The new website is www.thunderhorse-descendant.com. We've just moved it over to Square, so we are no longer on Etsy. So if you're looking for some of this, this is what it looks like. It's $2.95, so with the additional listing fee, it'll be another 30 cents on the website, but you can get some of that with us if you need it. So you get a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 sheet, so we're going to be utilizing that today. In addition, these are the size 11 seed beads that I have found in my stash that I had, that I'm going to incorporate to fill in some of the gaps in this pendant. So since we are going to be using these size 11 seed beads, and you could use any color you want, these are the only ones I had that were kind of like matching. We are going to be using the beading needle size 12, and I'm going to grab one of those up actually since we're in here. Okay, beading needle size 12. So we are also going to be using the size, what is this, size B? Yeah, size B beading thread. Okay, and I'm going to be busting into one of our new, I mean, these aren't new, we've sold them on the site for a long time, but this one's new for me. So this is a new honeybee wax cube. Still smells good. So I buy these and sell them on Thunderhorse Descendant. They're handmade by a guy who comes to our farmers market. He makes these specifically for us in this little cube, and so they are locally handmade here in Minnesota, and yeah, organic, obviously, smells good. So we got those. And oh, I had a few little like metallic brown beads as well. So those are the additional things that we're going to be using for this project. So let's get on into it. I'm going to clear the mat off and we're going to start. All right. Oh, I also forgot to mention you're going to need some glue. So I am going to use Loctite. I'm going to use Loctite and some hypo cement. Don't mind that. We had a little accident. So you can use whatever kind of glue you feel comfortable with. I don't know that I have any fabric glue, if you could imagine. I have all the glue, but I don't know if I have that. I don't know if I need that. But anyway, so here we go. We are going to first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this in half because I'm not going to be using all of it. I'm just going to be using a portion of it. So I'm just going to fold it and then cut it so that I can save this other half. Okay, so there we go. Now we're ready to rock. So now what we need to do is we need to decide what our little design is going to be. So if you watch the planning video for this, you know that I said I didn't want it to look like a person. Bum, bum. Do I want that there or do I want this down here? Decisions. So right now I'm just kind of scoping it out. Actually, I want all these, I have all these to hang on there. I want them to dangle after we're done. So I want to dangle these in there, probably off the bottom. So I'm just going to keep these to the side. So what I'm looking at right now is just the design. I know these were supposed to be for earrings or something, but I'm like, why not use all of them? I'm just kind of looking at the design and what I want it to be. And it kind of looks like a flower. Jake. I kind of like this. It's kind of cute. But if I did it this way, that might be kind of cute too, because then this could all have like a round rim with seed beads. Then I have this one left. I mean, I guess I could hang it here. I don't know if I care for that. I kind of like this. Alright, so now, in order to get this to work out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this down, and I'm just going to kind of look at this here. Because I don't want to use up too much of this stuff if I don't have to. And I want these to kind of touch. That's pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to start with this. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove these. I'm going to get out my glue, and I'm literally just going to glue this bead down. Now the only thing I really have to worry about here is that it's laying flat. This bead has an option because it has holes in it, whereas these others don't. So I am going to tack that one down because when given the option, I think tacking it down is better than not. So while I'm waiting for it to dry, I am going to get my string ready. And you could use any kind of string you want to. You could use a wildfire or a fire line, or you know, if you have a certain kind of string that you like, whatever you feel comfortable with. I'm just using this. Just gonna wax it up a little bit. and we will be ready to go. So thread this needle up, and there we go. So I want to make sure it's drying down. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go underneath, not tying not tying anything to my cord or anything like that. And I'm just going to make sure I'm coming up here by the hole. I'll zoom in so you guys can see. Okay, and I'm going to pull this up. I'm going to string through the bead, and I'm kind of holding this tail underneath just so you know it doesn't come through. Once I get to the other side, I'm just going to go directly straight down, come around here to the back, and I'm going to go right up next to this first hole. And then I'm going to go through again. And this is just tacking it down, because like I said, I feel like tacking it down is better than not tacking it down. So then I'm going to come over here to where this tail is sticking out, and I'm going to kind of, not going to go through, I'm just going to kind of stitch like you would sew a button. Stitch through, and then here is where I'm going to make my knot. I'm going to bring that tail through that loop and then do a half hitch knot right there, and that's what's going to kind of tack that down. I'm going to go one more time. Alright, and now we can move to the second hole. You can see that this is a carrier bead and it has two. So I'm going to kind of gauge that from underneath. Come right up there. Go through the bead. And then down on the other side. Now we're to the back, and I'm going to go right next to that first stitch that we made. So I'm coming right there by the hole. Go through the bead again. And down. Okay, now we are here to the back, and again, just like we did over here, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to kind of grab a little bit of the fabric, but not enough to go all the way through to the other side, and do a half hitch knot right here. So I'm going to go through this loop I created and pull it, and then I'm going to do it twice. I'm going to grab a little bite, just a little nibble of this fabric. It's too much. That's more than a nibble. That's a bite. Just need a nibble. Okay. Then again, half hitch knot by going through the loop. Easy peasy. And then once I have that, I'm going to again grab a little nibble, but instead of going through the loop, I'm just going to come all the way. I'm going to bring it, and I'm going to cut this off. Okay. So now I can also cut off this one. Don't need that anymore. So you should have this. You know, it's hard to see because on white. But now we have this glued down and tacked down, right? So now what I can do is I can start putting in the rest of my little beads. So I'm kind of lining this up. If you can see where those 2 holes are right there, you can see the string. I want to make sure that I'm lining this up before I glue it down in the middle of there. And I want it to touch the other bead, and then I'm going to glue it down. So with these ones that do not have holes to sew on, I am going to use hypo cement and Loctite. Hypo cement for the long hold, the long term, and Loctite for the immediate. So I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to go with my Loctite. Then I'm going to go with my hypo cement. And put the cover back on this. Alright. Now, I'm going to get this in my right hand, and I'm going to line it up where I want. In between those 2 holes is how I'm gauging it. Now this does have facets on it, so I'm going to give it a little half a turn while I can, because it's got facets going across the top. And it is touching this pink bead. Okay? I'm going to give that a little time to dry. In the interim, I'm going to start taking a look at these guys here, figuring out where I want to place them. I'm going to start in a triangle type shape like this, and then adding these 2. And then there's still this one left. Oh, and I could add it here. Let me look at the monitor. Do I like that? I mean, I don't know that I do. I mean, maybe I do. I can't make a decision. Well, to be determined. These guys are going on. So again, I'm going to start with the 3. I want to line them up with each other. And these ones, as you can tell, this green bead here is kind of like there's a dome underneath. So I don't want to push them just straight up against there, because I don't want it to kind of go sliding underneath. I want them to touch but not be sliding underneath. If that makes sense. So I'm going to get my hypo cement ready. I'm going to go with that first. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Houston? We've got glue problems. Ah! Okay, hold on. Hold on. The hypo cement has not glued itself back together yet. Oh fear, I have another. You can see it's coming out right there. Alright. So, try again. Do a little dab. Do a little dab. Do a dab. So I'm going to put this into, these guys are so small. I'll put this into my right hand. Got a few seconds. Stuck to my finger. Get this needle back. Hypo's mint. This one now has glue in it. Put this in here just in case it wants to get wonky. Alright. Now I gotta wash my hands. 1 second. We're gonna let this dry. Everything is on there. Alright guys, I don't know if washing my hands really helped. I still got glue on them. But anyway, here we go. So now what I'm going to do, this string probably isn't going to be long enough, so I'm going to go ahead and take that one off. We'll start with a new string. So I'm going to get at least one wingspan. Oh, my battery's going to die. One wingspan, and I'll get this threaded up, and I'll switch my battery, and I'll be right back. Alright, so I got my string on here. So we're just using one string. It's not doubled up or anything, and it does not have a knot in it at this time. I am going to go ahead and put a knot down here at the bottom, so I'm just going to tie a knot. We'll just do like we do when we do with the tweezer. So we'll go 1 and then 2 and bring it down to the end. And one more time. And we're going to get that on top of the other one we made. Alright. And we're going to start at the bottom. So what we're going to do in essence is we're going to take our seed beads and we're going to start going around and creating a pendant. So I am also going to be including some of these copper that we received and some of these smaller green ones. So I'm just going to go ahead and have those on the ready. I don't know how many we'll use, but I'll just get them ready. What we don't use will go into the strand. Okay. And then some of those smaller green ones we'll probably use to edge it as well. Now, I'm going to be using some seed beads. So I've got my metallic brown, and I've got, again, these are all size 11. These are like a mauvey pink color. I've got kind of like a pearl orange color. And then this green. Now I will say I don't know how sold I am on this green, but we'll put it out here just in case we want to use it. Alright, so we're going to start. Have I ever done this before? No, not exactly. I've made some bracelets before, a long time ago, but never anything like this. But I foresee it going pretty okay. I am going to start here around the circle, because if I start here, I have this like in between space. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from the back, and I'm going to kind of gauge where this green circle starts and push my needle in there. So I want to be able to fit a bead in there, so I'm going to go probably like right here. Okay, you see right there? So I am kind of far away, but that's so I can hold it up and it still focuses, because if I have to do like this, it's hard for me to like lift it and get underneath. So I'm going to go right there, and I'm going to make a stitch with no beads on, go back down, and the reason for this is so that I can then on the back flip it over and do like we did when we were tacking down the bead, and just get a little bite of it and do a half hitch knot. It's too much. Come on, you. Just like the littlest bit. That'll have to work. And then I'm going to do a half hitch knot through this loop, so that I'm at least tacked down to the back. Okay, now I'm going to find my way back up to where we were started from. Let's see. That looks good. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start putting beads on to fill in this part right here. So I'm going to put 3 on at a time, and then we're going to tack them down. So I think for the first like little part, I'm going to do pink since these are all green. So I'm going to do pink, put on 3 beads. I'm going to let them slide into place, and then wherever they end, I'm going to go ahead and just go down through the stiffy stuff. And you can see that they are on there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, now you could do this 2 ways. You could have like a leader and then a tacking thread. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to come back up in between the first bead and the second bead. And then once I'm there, I'm going to run this string back through those 2 beads. Okay, so I'm going back through those 2 beads we put on to tack them down. Okay, so now I'm just going to go again. I'm going to take 3 beads, and I'm going to tack them. I'm going to bend this and I'm going to tack them in here. Okay. Then I'm going to come up from the bottom. You kind of got to just eyeball this. And I want to come up between the first and the second bead that I just put on. Then I will run this through bead 2 and 3. Okay, and we're going to do that all the way around. So I'll do it one more time. Put on 3 beads. Okay, bring those down. And I want to bring them down because I want to get an eyeball for where this is going to hit, right? So I want them to fall into place. I got my stone there a little bit close, but it's fine. So I'm just going to tack down. Okay, so you can see once I tacked it, they got right into line where they're supposed to be. And then I'm going to hold it up here so you guys can see. I'm going to come from the back, kind of gotta bend this a little bit, and I'm going to come from the back, and I want my needle to come up between the first and the second bead that I put on that in that round. Bring it up, and then I'm going to go through beads 2 and 3 with my needle. And now these beads are tacked down. Okay, so I'm going to go all the way around this stone just like this with these pink beads. I'm going to go until here. I'm not going to go through here. I'm going to go till here, and then we're going to start doing the next bit. Okay, so I'm going to pop off camera and I'll come back when I've got all of this round completed. Alright guys, I got all my beads on here. And so now I'm going to start making my second round of beads. So I'm debating on the color. I'm just going to line up here with where I want them to start, which I think is about right there. And I don't know if I want to do another round of pink or if I want to switch into orange maybe. Maybe I'll try the orange. I don't know how noticeable the orange will be different the pink, but we'll see. Yeah, looks pretty good. So then I'm just going to do the same stitch. I'm going to figure out where I think they're going to land. I'm going to go down. Getting all tangled up. I should cut that off, but either way, go down, and then I'm going to go back up here, and go through these 2 beads so that they lay flat. And then what I'm planning to do is I might have to do 1 or 2 beads here, probably 2. 2 beads. Oh, maybe 1. Yeah, probably 1. 1 more. And then I'm going to start going around these little eggs. They kind of look like eggs to me. Go around these little eggs with the same color. So, go here, tack this one down, come up right behind it. So now when I got 2 rounds, I'm kind of sticking to the inside in between, you guys can see, in between these 2 instead of to the outside. Go through that 1 bead to tack it down. And then I'm going to have to go down and then come up back from this bead to put on the round. Okay. So now I can start adding 3. And I'm just going to go around this bead. In essence, we're just making an outline. Just making an outline with these seed beads. Go back in between the first and the second bead. And then go through bead number 2 and 3 to tack it down. And then add the next set. Yeah. I think once I get out of all this, like in between the little beads, in between these little guys, and when I go around the edge, like once I'll do 1 or 2 swipes around the edge to create the pendant looking, that's when I'm going to put in these fire polish, because they're not really going to fit in very good when I'm trying to make an outline for this. So it's all gonna look nice. So I'm just gonna keep going this way until I get completely around all these little eggs. Okay. And I'm just gonna keep going this way. I'll show you like how I'm going to get around this first one so we know how to get around the rest of them. And then I'll probably throw it into fast forward. I might have to put some more wax on my string here. Okay, I think I can get one more in there. Tack down this one in between here so it doesn't look like an empty space. Yeah, I can. Okay, and then I'm going to have to go down and then I'm going to flip this around. I'm going to come over here and we're going to start out the next one. So now these ones might be a little close together to get beads into, so I'm going to go where it feels comfortable for me, because you know I didn't measure these or anything, but I'm just going to go where it feels comfortable for me to start putting beads on. Let's go back a little bit. Okay. Why won't you go through there? Keeps going everywhere but where I needed to go. And so I'm going to just start here. I might be able to get a bead right there, but I don't want to run beads too close together because all that's going to do is just pop off these little things. So I'm just going to go here. No worries. 2, 3. And go around. And so basically we're just doing the same stitch around all these little things. And then this time I am going to, once I get around, I am going to follow this up and around here before I start my next stitch. So I'm going to go around here, boop, 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 and then I'm going to go around this bead, and then I'll be starting my next color stitch down here. So I will come back when I have that ready to go. Okay, so we have gone all the way around, even around the little rectangle, and I am now back right here, ready to start up my next bead. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to incorporate my very first fire polish bead in this little part right here, as long as it'll fit. I think it will. It's going to be a little bit of a tight squeeze, but as long as it fits. Oh yeah, it does fit. Cool. Now I'm going to go back through the back of the fire polish here and go through there. So this is one of the 3mm fire polishes. The 4mm I'm not going to start incorporating until, I don't know, maybe the next round or the zipper part, I'm not sure. Okay, so go down and then get ready to start my beading portion. So in order to start my beading portion, I'm going to come up next to this round of beads here. You can see my needle. Okay, so I'm going to start there. And I think since I got this green fire polish on there, I'm going to go with these green beads to the side. Let's see how it looks. They are darker. I don't know if I care for that dark green. It's not the same green, so I don't think I'm going to do that. It would have been cool if I had some lighter green ones, but you know, things and stuff. So let's see, maybe I'll go back to these pink. Go back to these darker pink. I do think this orange looks nice on there. Yeah, it's a little better. Okay. So again, I'm just going to go around doing the same stitch. Go down, come back. I'm going to come back in between bead 1 and 2, and then go through bead 2 and 3, the same stitch we have been doing. And let's see, maybe I'm just going to keep going like that. I was going to say, oh, maybe I'll add in some fire polish on this part, but I don't think I will. I think I'm just going to keep going like this for now. all the way around again. Yep, just like that. And just following this around. Uh-oh. Alright, so if you've come across this situation, no fear. Just gotta glue them back down. Probably from all the bending I'm doing on this. Probably from all the bending that I'm doing on this stiffy stuff. Let's put some more glue on there. And put him back. No worries. Okay. And again, I'll just show you guys till, you know, where I'm moving on to the next one, because basically this is just the same stitch, but ooh, I just poked myself. I just poked myself. Sometimes I go through 3. If I end up under the 3, I just go through there. It's fine. 3. Too many? Oh, that might be too many. I gotta do 2 here. So again, I'm just kind of eyeballing this to see, you know, how many I'm gonna need. When it comes down to it. So I only need 2 for this. For it to fit in there pretty good. Tack it down. And so for these angles, if you're having issue with the angles, what I'll do is I'll just go down and then come up next to the beads where I want to start again. And then just continue on. And that's all you gotta do. So we're gonna go around like this, all the way around again till we get back here. And when we get to over here to this side, we will again put one of these little fire polish. I'm thinking I'm going to be able to put a fire polish right here too. So I'm going to go around with these pink until we get around again. I'm going to put my other green one here, and then I'll be back. Alrighty, party people, here we are back at the beginning. And it's up to you if you want to keep going around, make it wider or whatever you want to do there. I am going to call this good, and I'm going to put my fire polish on the edging. So the next step that we need to do is we need to just tie a knot here, a half hitch knot like we have been doing in the back. To just tie this off, and once I have one there, I'm just going to go up and make a stitch. It'll be not noticeable in between the beads. Okay, and then tie another knot. Just a smidge. And then again, just bring it all the way through, and then we can cut it off. All right, so put that over here for now. And so this is what the back looks like. So now what we're going to do is we're going to cut it out, and we're going to glue it. I found the leather glue, so we're going to use that onto this piece of moleskin, or micro suede is what they call it. We do sell these on Thunderhorse Descendant if you need one. Okay, we got the air conditioner off. Now, I'm not going to use this scissor. I'm actually going to use my leather cutting scissor, or something that just has a little finer tip. This isn't much better, but it is a little better. And I'm going to cut around close to the beading. Okay. That looks pretty good. Okay, there's a few little edges here. I just have to be very careful not to cut the actual string or the beadwork. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take a little piece of this moleskin, and I'm just going to go up here in the corner, and I'm just going to grab a permanent marker, and going to use my mirror and put it underneath here so I can have something hard to just write on. And then I'm just going to go around and make the shape that I need. Okay, and then I'm going to cut that out. And now I'm just gonna follow this little diagram that I have made. To the best of my ability. Okay. Pretty good. There's a little bit of overlap, but that's okay because we're going to do stitching. So I just have to make sure that it's the way that I want it to look. That's what it'll look like on the back. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my leather glue, and my leather glue is clogged up, so I'm going to use a paintbrush. Nobody's surprised about that. I'm going to paintbrush onto the back of the stiffy stuff. And this stuff doesn't take long to dry. I just want to make sure I'm really getting the edges. Okay. And hopefully get it all lined up. Looking pretty good. Okay, now while this is drying, this takes about probably like 5 to 10 minutes to dry. I'm just gonna leave it there. So we're gonna get prepared to do the stitching part. So for the stitching part, again, I'm going back to my needle. And I'm going to prep this. I am going to put a knot in the end. 1, 2, then we're going to wax the string. Ugh, I just threw beads all over the place. We're going to wax the string. Collect our beads up. Holy Hannah. Alright. Alrighty. Now, it's kind of up to you where you want to start. If you want to start on the top, you can. I think I'm going to start here on the side. Well, I'll have to do a loop up here. Alright, I'll start up here on the top. So I'm going to go through the back of the moleskin and the stiffy stuff. But I'm going to avoid going on the other side of the bead strand. Okay, so I'm going through the moleskin, through the stiffy stuff, but I'm not trying to cross into the territory of the bead strand. So I'm going to pull that through. My knot is stopping it. Okay, and for the purpose of tacking this down, I'm not going to put a bead on. I'm just going to go one more time to make a stitch. Okay. And now I'm going to stitch back, and I'm just doing this to get into place to make my first actual stitch. So now what I'm going to do, I think I can do one, I don't know if I can do 3 of these because they're quite large. Maybe I can? We'll try it. So I'm going to put on 3, and I'm going to come over here, and wherever I think they're going to end, I'm just going to go through the moleskin and the stiffy stuff. Okay, I don't want to go into my beading now. There we go. So I hope you can see that. And then I would pull through. Okay, and then I'm going to come up through the last bead that I've put on. Okay, so I don't know if I can do that with these large beads. I mean, it looks like I can, but we'll see. I'll try it 3 more, because normally I would be doing this with smaller beads, but we'll see. So then I gauge that, and I go through the moleskin and the stiffy stuff, but not into the bead strand. Okay. And then go through this bead here. So let's see how that's working out. Oh yeah, I think once we get all the way around, it's gonna look fine. It's a little bigger than I would normally do, but I mean, it's gonna be fine once we get it all pulled tight. Yeah, should be okay. So I'm going to keep going like that. 1, 2, 3. See where that's going to end us. Right here in this corner. Okay. So I'm just going to keep going around like this all the way around till I get back to the top. Once I get back to the top, I am going to go ahead around and reinforce it. But I'm going to do that and then I'll come right back. Well, as it turns out, I do not have enough beads. So that's okay. I'm just going to, I could either use these larger size, but that's going to be noticeable. I only have 2 of these little guys left. And I'm right in the corner here. So I think what I'm going to do is, instead I'm going to use, let's see. I could use these, but those are kind of not the best situation. Let me get some seed beads. Orange, pink. Okay, I'm gonna get some pink, and I'm going to start from the corner here, and I'm going to use seed beads to go up around. Once I get up here, I am going to assess this situation and probably get rid of these so that it's all pink on the top, right? So FYI on that, but let's try it. It's either that or, you know, wait for more beads to come in. Okay, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. This, of course, is going to take a little more time because it's larger beads. Or, I'm sorry, smaller beads. Just do it the same way. Sometimes it's easier for me to go around to the back. Okay. So right here is where I'm going to take these green ones off. So I'm going to do pink around to here. So I'm just going to cut this stitch out, and then I'm going to have to just kind of be careful because I've got it stitched in, and I'm going to have to tie a knot or reinforce it down here. So I'm just going to leave that there for the time being. We're going to go around with pink. Once I get down to the end there, I can tie all that in with this thread. So we don't actually need this additional thread here. This is the tail of that. Cut that off. Okay. Where there's a will, there is a way. Will not be defeated. I take a little extra time with these small beads, but they do look nice in the edge. Oops, lost one. Come here, you. I bent my needle all up. That's pretty normal. Whenever I do projects like this, I usually just end up throwing it away at the end. Okay, so that should give us room for one more little set of beads here. Oh, 3, not 4. Right into the corner. Okay, so I'm just attaching that one in. Now, for this situation, what I'm going to do, since I have this bead going, is I am going to go back into the beadwork from the back, kind of in this little corner, and I'm going to grab a hold of this bead right here. I'm just going to go through that. Okay, we're not going to even worry about that little tail right there. And then I'm going to go through these 3, or these 2, sorry. These 2, and then down. But I am going to go through this and tack it one more time around here, just because this was loose, right? Okay, and then I'm going to go back up through the bead, always going with the beadwork, and I'm then just going to go around in these beads to make them a little bit tighter. Not always necessarily tacking the thread again, but you can. You might have to actually in order to continue with the pattern. But just reinforcing this since we did cut it. So I'm just going to reinforce this by going through and doing it all again. So bring it down. And then I'm just going to go through the back. Through the leather, and then back up the back here. And all the way around. Okay, so I'm going to do that to give it a little more stability. But this is how she's looking so far. So I'm pretty happy with it. So I'm going to continue to reinforce this, and then I will come back. We're going to put the bail on. Okay guys, here we are on day 2. Day 2. So I believe where I left off is I had just reinforced all of the little green fire polish here, and now I'm going to go to the top and I'm going to create a bail. Let's see, where is this coming out of? Okay, so what I'm going to do is it's coming out of this green bead here, and I need it to be, I need to finish this stitch and come out of the green bead. So there I am. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow, always following the pattern, I'm going to follow into some of these pink, and I'm going to get myself up into this row right here. So I hope you can see into this row. That's actually all in the stiffy stuff, and I'm going to follow that up to the top. Okay, and I could actually use one of these links as my bail. So let's see. So there's 1, 2. So this one here would actually be suitable to be my bail. So what I'm going to do, since I've already gone through that bead, is I'm going to go over 2 more. And I'm going to go in through this bead, and I'm just going to reinforce this because this is what I'm going to hook onto as my bail. So I'm going to actually go through. I'm going to go through the leather. That's a little bit much. Let me go again. That's pretty good. So I'm going to go through there and then up into this bead. Then I'm going to follow around these 2 beads right here. And back down, just reinforcing this. This is going to be where I hook on as a bail. So now what I can do is I can go ahead and I can tie this off. And I think to do that, what I'll do is I'm going to actually come into this bead right here and then go down into the pattern and create a half hitch knot. Right here. Ooh, it's flipping my bead around. Don't like that. I don't know if I got tangled up or if it's just I don't like how it's pulling my bead out. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to forego that idea. And I'm just going to tie on in the back. Like at the top in the back. Because that'll just make it easier to hide it. Go through to the back, make a little stitch. I don't want to make the stitch too big because I want it to be kind of not noticeable. And back up to the top. And I mean, you could really tie this off any way you wanted to as long as you felt comfortable with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go through this hole where there is a hole. So I'm not really tying into anything. And then I'm going to go back through the fabric and then do my half hitch knot that way by going through the string. And that is going to be a day. I'm going to cut that off. Now I will probably, if I thread zapper, I still don't think my thread zapper is working, so I will probably just burn this. I do have a lighter. So I'm just going to give it a little, burn it a little bit. This one as well. There we go. Woo! All right, you guys. All right. Now, I am going to add I don't know if I want to add a jump ring here or what I want to add to make this veil. So I'm going to take a look at what kind of beading we're going to do. So now I had said I wanted to hang some of these from here, and I think I still do want to do that. So we're going to look at that. Do I want to do that? I don't know if I do now. I was thinking like, oh, we can hang some from here, which we could, but I just don't know if I want to. Debatable. Okay. Regardless, let's get our stuff ready for stringing, because that's the next portion. Oh, my phone is on. That is the next portion of this necklace. Let's just turn this on to silent so it stops bothering us. And so to do that, I'm just going to get all my beads free. And we're going to start stringing. I'm a mess. I got beads on my beads all over the place here. Hold on a second. You guys gotta come off of here. I don't know how you got down here in the first place. Okay. And then we have these larger ones. So these are different than these little guys. All right, let me get these organized and split and I'll be right back.